Review and approve the basic code of ethics and board members. Review these. Code of ethics. Members of the St. Mary's Joint School District 41, Board of Trustees, individual trustees, shall annually execute a code of ethics containing the following language. As a member of the St. Mary's Joint School District 41 Board of Trustees, I strive to improve student achievement in public education, and to that end, I, number one, will attend all regular scheduled board meetings insofar possible, and have read my board packet, ensuring that I am informed about the issues and the consideration at the meetings. Two, recognize the board must comply with the open meeting law, only has authority to make decisions as an official board meeting. Three, make all decisions based on available facts in my independent judgment, and refuse to surrender the judgment to individuals or special interest groups. Four, understand that the board makes decisions as a team. Individual board members may not commit to the board to any action unless so authorized by official board action. Five, recognize that these decisions are made by a majority vote, and the outcome should be supported by all board members. Six, acknowledge the board policy decisions are a primary function of the board and should be made after full discussion and publicly held board meetings. Recognizing an authority to administer policy rests with the superintendent. Seven, to be open and fair and honest, to have no hidden agendas, and respect the right of the board members to have opinions and ideas which differ from mine. Eight, recognize the superintendent is the board's advisor and should be present at all meetings except when the superintendent is the subject matter or where the superintendent presents a conflict of interest. Further, the superintendent shall not may not present during any board deliberation regarding the student expulsion hearing, or when the board deliberates regarding the teacher non-renewal or termination advised by the administration. 9, understand the chain of command and refer to problems to complaints to the proper administrative office when refraining from communications that may create conditions biased. Should a concern ever rise to the attention of the board as a hearing panel. 10, keep abreast of information develops in the educational trend, research and practice by individual study, and through participation in programs providing such information. 11, respect the right of the public to be informed about district decisions and school operations. 12, understand that I receive information that is confidential and cannot be shared. 13, give staff the respect and consideration due skilled professional employees, and support the employee of those best qualified to serve as district staff while insisting on regular and impartial evaluations of all staff. Present personal criticism of the district operations to the superintendent. Do not to district staff or at a board meeting. 15, refuse to use any of my board positions as personal or family gain or prestige. I will announce any conflict of interest before board action is taken. And 16, remember always that my first and greatest concern must be the educational welfare of the students attending public schools. So that's the code of ethics. So is this the one we signed?
That's okay. Why don't you sign it tonight and I will get a new one signed. If there's any sign it tonight.
You want to do the motion with the amendment?
What's the amendment?
That's
Oh,
the
okay.
updated. Let's go with it. Nothing with the code.
So I guess we'll need to move forward with the motion with the amendment to spell her name correctly.
Make a motion to correct the spelling of Beth Halverson's name on the code of ethics.
And move forward to approve the code of ethics.
And approve the code of ethics.
So Josh, you got the motion?
Need a second.
Second?
Second.
Says second. Any further discussion? All in favor by saying aye. Opposed?
Yes.
Motion carries.
And I just handed out the visual.
Okay, should I'll explain this? All right. If you look on the page following the code of ethics, you'll see a draft for next year's schedule of board meetings. And Tana Wicks also gave us another calendar to look at, so you can see the month in reference to the days of the proposed board meetings. So you'll see that we left the second Monday of the month as the board meeting times. We've left right now the location at the district office, and you'll notice 2 board meetings are at Upriver School. We've left the time with executive session starting at 5:30, and then the regular board meeting starting at 6:30. And though there's 2 months, the month of September, you can see it's kind of color coded on this year at a glance calendar. And November, we moved the board meeting to the third Monday of the month. The reason being, in September, typically school starts after Labor Day, and so it gives schools, departments, building principals some time to get school up and running and operations up and running, and then have a board meeting with a little bit more to report out on and a little bit more of a progress update of the operations. And November, we are offering the third Monday of the month as well, because looking ahead at the calendar, the ISBA annual conference that the board and the superintendent and clerk usually attends would fall right before the second Monday. So by having it, the board meeting the third Monday, it gives us a little time to return to school, plan and prepare for board week. Questions, thoughts, discussions?
I guess the only thing I would have to say was the 2 times a year we have the meeting at Fernwood. Don't feel bad when you show up here and nobody's here. Tana will, or Teresa will text you and say, hey, reminder, this is at Upriver tonight. So
That's
I've showed up.
assuming that we went to it.
Yeah, I've showed up here and it's like, why is nobody here? Oh, yeah. So just,
There and back.
it's in the spring and the fall, one each end, but it's, a guy gets pretty complacent and you just think, yeah, we're gonna go here and then. So anyway, so I guess need a motion to accept the annual meetings calendar.
I'll move to accept the proposed meeting calendar.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So approve the business manager / treasurer for 2024. I think this details,
Making a motion?
I don't think it's gonna give us clarity as what. Yeah.
Did I do
There's
it?
no clarity. I was thinking swapping the issue was on, but that's not the case. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it really doesn't make board meetings, so that's just more clear.
Yeah.
for treasurer.
Yep.
I'll move to accept.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Need to approve board clerk and in the clerk's absence, acting as clerk for 2024. Well, yeah, we need to explain it. So if Tana's gone, then Danette will jump in as the clerk. And then, so that's how that'll work. So,
So it's a vice versa situation.
well, just the one way. It doesn't go the other way, just the one way. So,
Okay.
Appoint me, and if I'm absent, to
yes.
Okay.
step in, because hardly ever happens.
So,
You want that as two motions, or you want that as one?
appoint the clerk and in the absence of
And
acting clerk. So,
I move that Tammy Wick be board clerk with Annette Cordell as her substitute if ever necessary to fill in board clerk duties.
okay, got a motion? Motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to A, review and consider motion to approve the January 8th, 2024 board agenda and any possible addendums.
I'll move forward with it. Yeah.
Second.
Okay, we're gonna motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. All right, down to the open forum. Is there anybody signed up to speak on the open forum?
Mary, we forgot the group picture. We'll come back.
We can take
Sorry,
it when we
the first
stand
one
up.
was
and
the
for executive
agenda
session.
item.
And we move for executive session.
This one.
Okay.
Speech and welcome. Oath. Well, oath.
For
Speech and welcome.
executive session, we can go.
So,
Okay.
okay, 5 minutes.
We're gonna leave.
Okay, I guess the first one, Alan Imel? Imel. Okay, items C and N. So monthly building reports and review and consider motion to approve the renewal of the superintendent's contract.
Hello, my name is Alan Immel. I live in Amida. I graduated St. Mary's High School in 2006. Go Jacks. First, I would like to congratulate the incoming school board committee members for their victories. And the show's poll that the people have clearly chosen you over the incumbents. So congratulations on that. And you have been elected as leaders in this communities. As such, I would ask two things of you. First, that you would be exemplary in your conduct and align yourself with your conduct and your morals to the pattern laid out by God in the Bible. Many of the founding fathers acknowledged God and modeled this country and the Constitution that you swore an oath to after his principles found in the Bible. In 1890, the great state of Idaho in our state constitution recognizes God as the source of our freedom and blessing. And I quote, "We, the people of the state of Idaho, grateful to the Almighty God for our freedom, to secure its blessings and promote our common welfare, do establish this Constitution. By following the Constitution and God's Word, the Bible, as your moral compass, you will bring freedom and blessing to this community." The second thing I would ask is that you be a servant-hearted leader, as the Constitution in the Bible requires government leaders to be. You serve the people that you serve the people and you work for the people of this county. You do not work for the people in DC, Boise, or lobbyist groups. You work for the taxpayer in the Benawah County. To that point, the previous board did not listen to the people's request not to hire the superintendent. The superintendent's previous track record did not align with this community's morals, values, and desires. The people's voice is clear, and they came out and voted their opinion when they elected the three of you. we, the people, do not support the contract renewal for the superintendent. I would ask you to either vote no on the renewal at this time or to make a motion to table indefinitely the renewal of the superintendent's contract. Thank you very much. I yield my time.
All right, Pamela. Not sure how to pronounce your last name, ma'am. Maimone.
Can you spell that for me?
Maimone.
Uh,
Okay, we'll get 7 minutes and 20 seconds.
Okay, it won't take that long. My name's Pamela. I want to say congratulations to everybody on the board. And what else can I say from the last person? But I wanted to say that everybody here is ordained by God for this position. Now, whether you follow, God's word, the Constitution, that's up to you. But our community loves the Lord, what's right, family, and I just want to say, I wish you guys the best. Stay strong. Sometimes it's hard, but it's harder not to stay strong because you have to go to sleep at night. So I hope the best things for this year and anything to come, and I know that the right decisions will be made. Thank you. You can take the time.
all right, next on here, Amy Shinest.
First off, I want to say welcome to our new board members. I feel like I kind of can't see you over the microphone there, but I'm going to talk and I guess you'll listen. I'm speaking tonight to the contract renewal, but on that front, I want to address some concerns that I've seen with the current superintendent and some things that I would like you to consider moving forward. So at the last meeting I attended, I was verbally accosted by a school employee as I exited the meeting. Mr. Hendricks asked me to leave the meeting as that was happening, and actually did not excuse her. There were a lot of witnesses to this, including some of our new board members. Once I arrived home, I emailed Superintendent Wrench and requested disciplinary action for the employee and an apology. As far as I know to date, no disciplinary action's been taken, and I also have not received an apology. And I would like for all of you to have a copy of my email that I sent her that evening on my arrival to home. This behavior is unbecoming of a school staff member at a board meeting, and my opinion should have been swiftly addressed by our superintendent. The public should be able to address elected officials without fear of retribution from staff members. At December's meeting, multiple employees spoke out in support of the superintendent, which may or may not have been in consideration of swaying incoming board members to vote for contract renewal. Following this meeting, the local newspaper published staff comments as a show of public support, yet they ignored any of the comments from the public in the room. None of those were actually published in the newspaper. Again, concerning, that there's a bigger thing happening behind this, trying to sway public opinion and pressure new board members to extend a contract. I am concerned that there are very significant strings attached to some of the grants that have been obtained by the school district recently. I know some of this happened before Teresa was on board, and I know that some of it has happened since she has been on board. But I'm very concerned about those strings that come attached, and I hope that our new board members will step up and take an active role in, deciding whether or not those are strings we want as part of commitment to our community. I'm also concerned related to the process that's going on with the math curriculum. There's some pretty heavy leaning towards curriculum that includes both CRT and SEL. We know that Teresa has previously advocated for this type of curriculum in her other school district. And I know that she at least plays some role in this math curriculum process. I'm not saying everything she's done is bad. As some of the staff reported, I think she's done some very positive things in the school, and it sounds like the staff supports her. I personally have had some positive interactions with her, but that does not mean that there are not still some alternative agendas that have not been brought forward, agendas that would be easier to be brought forward if there was a long-term contract. So I ask that the board tread cautiously with the renewal of the contract and consider input from your public, the people that have voted you into these positions, in order to represent us. The public spoke loud and clear with their votes, ousting all of the incumbents on the school board. We expect that our hopefully current board members and new board members will work hard to stop the influx of the liberal agenda into our schools and support the children of this community getting a high quality, equality-based education. If you choose to renew, I would request that you do not renew for more than 1 year. Our community and the board need more time to decide if she's the right choice for our children. And we don't need another costly buyout like we've seen with the previous superintendent in the past. Thank you.
All right, Ginny Darnold.
I yield my time. I don't know if there's anybody else. You were still speaking. I'm sorry. I thought I was the last one on the list. I yield my time.
Minutes or 11 seconds.
Okay. Good evening, and thank you for allowing me the time to speak. I would like to start off by thanking the new board members for offering their time and efforts to both the community and our children. The community overwhelmingly chose you three to represent the people's interests in running the schools, and I'm excited to see what you guys will accomplish with this in mind. I would like to ask that the board considers that any superintendent contract should be no longer than 1 year. This would keep the superintendent working for the district, not the other way around. And like Amy said, it would also save the district from paying out an expensive contract when a sitting superintendent is not working well, as that has happened in the past. I would like to state that I am not in favor of renewing the superintendent's contract. While I do appreciate that she worked with me on getting the sex offender policy fixed, the fact of the matter is that when the illegal sex offender policy was brought to the board meeting to be adopted, it was only stopped from being adopted because of a typo that I found and brought forward to the board's attention. The superintendent, as well as the board, had every intention of readopting the illegal sex offender policy. While I believe that we as parents and community members should be involved and pay attention, the task of making sure that school policy is legal and is in the best interest of our children falls to the superintendent as well as the board, and they were remiss. As a side note, the illegal policy was suggested to the board by ISBA, whom we pay for legal advice. I firmly believe that we should be cutting ties with ISBA. Regarding the current math curriculum committee, all of the math curriculum that was brought forth to the committee members by the district has social emotional learning, or SEL, and about half of it also has critical race theory, CRT, as well. The superintendent was integral in the decision-making process for the curriculum selection. The parents and community members have made it very clear that we don't want SEL or CRT in our schools. When the superintendent search was in the works, Chair Hendricks stated that none of that woke stuff would be coming here. Well, it looks like that is not the case. We also are finding out that the McKinstry grant has the woke strings of diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility attached to it. At the last meeting, Jody and Beth both stated that the community wouldn't like the inclusion of the DEIA. However, both chose not to vote against it. We need a board and superintendent who stops DEIA, CRT, SEL, not pushes them forward. For these reasons, I am not in favor of extending the contract for the superintendent. The community voted on you three to be the change that we're wanting for our district and our children. Please show us that we have chosen the right people for the job. Thank you. I defer my time.
That's the last speech, correct?
Yeah. Okay, presentation agenda down to the patrons. Gary Crandall.
Ready.
5 minutes.
All right. So last time I spoke, I got complaints that they couldn't hear me in the back. Can y'all hear me in the back? Okay. Does this actually work? Yes, no. Speak into it.
Well, I
Okay.
think it's just being recorded. There's
Okay.
no audio in here.
Okay. All right. Good evening. I would like to thank the new board members for being willing to give of their time, their talents, and more time to help our kids. Thank you guys. It's not going to be an easy job. And you guys know that. Lots of late night 10 p.m. meetings, right? With the pesky people that get up and speak. Next, I would like to speak to some of the policies that have been coming through, and that ties into the superintendent review. At the last school board meeting, we heard positive sentiments expressed by a group of speakers associated with the public school system. After the meeting, a Gazette reporter reached out to me about an article that they were writing for the school board meeting. They wanted to cover the positive support that Ms. Wrench received, and the reporter stated that they want to get my thoughts on the article, in the article. I appreciated them reaching out to me and promptly stopped everything I was doing that day to take the time to write some of my thoughts down and send them over to the reporter, since they said it was time sensitive. To my surprise, when the paper came out the following week, my thoughts didn't make it into the paper. The article came out and the headline read, "Citizens and District Give Wrench High Praise and Evaluation." While by a technicality, this headline is true, because they were citizens, as far as I know, there was no illegals in the room, hopefully. I don't know. It's hard to tell these days. It doesn't tell the whole story. There were also citizens in the room and who wrote to the paper afterwards that did not give high praise to the superintendent. But the Gazette chose not to put these dissenting voices in the article. And unfortunately, this has been par for the course with the Gazette. They have suppressed letters to the editor throughout this whole process of what the public thinks about the superintendent and how the schools are run. And that's why I'm telling you guys this, so you have a complete picture, because you're not getting a complete picture if you're reading the newspaper, unfortunately, these days. Later, I found out that the Gazette reached out to multiple people about their thoughts on the meeting and the superintendent, and didn't publish their thoughts either. Interestingly enough, these people did not express high praise for the superintendent as well. They had, in the legal terms, what you call a dissent opinion. But our country allows for dissent. When the Supreme Court argues something, they're allowed to dissent. You guys are allowed to dissent, and you're allowed to tell people why you dissent. That's your right under the First Amendment, freedom of speech. So I'd like to read a couple excerpts from what I wrote regarding the high praise from the group that spoke at the last meeting. And this is what I submitted to the Gazette. The support for the superintendent from the incumbent school board and some of the teachers at the last meeting is no surprise. It would be unusual for the public education system not to support itself. Our hardworking local teachers should most definitely be heard, and their opinions should be taken into consideration as part of the superintendent evaluation process. Likewise, the hardworking taxpayers also deserve to be heard. And as the majority shareholders, we were talking about shareholders and stakeholders last time, in the school system, the local taxpayers need to be intimately involved and approve of what y'all do with their money. Because it's their money. It's our money. We allow you guys to steward it. We ask you to steward it. You guys, out of the goodness of your heart, volunteer for this position. And that's the relationship, right? But as I've stated multiple times here, to compel us to furnish funds for things that we do not believe in is sinful and tyrannical. And we want to see that change, and we hope you guys are the guys to do it. In regards to the superintendent, I wrote for the Gazette, I do not support renewing the superintendent contract at this time. The incumbent board, I don't get the carryover from the previous?
No, I don't believe so.
You guys have usually carried that over.
You've signed up separately.
Well,
That's
not
different.
from
Yeah,
that end of it.
yeah.
There's open forum and then
There's
you
open forum
assign.
and then there's
Okay.
presentation agenda.
All right.
I did not give you that, sorry. So,
Question, your bylaws state that after everybody is presented, if there's time left, you allow for presentations to continue. Would you permit that? Can I make a motion? Can I make a citizen's motion on that?
Well, we got business to take care of this evening, so.
But this is our business.
next up is Tony DeGravio.
All right.
Yes, Tony DeGravio.
Tony, you get 5 minutes.
Okay, good evening, guys. Welcome, congratulations. I just wanted to let you guys know that you are the three that were voted in by this community, and they have expectations of what you guys are gonna to bring to this board, because I guess apparently the last board couldn't do it, and they didn't. So I'd like to welcome you, and I want you to make sure that you guys just do what goes right, not what you're being told to do. If they're trying to convince you to do things, do what you think is right, what you know is right, and what the people, your constituents, know that you know is right. And that's all I have to say. And congratulations and good luck. I give my time.
Mr. Ken DeVries.
Greetings, I'm Ken DeVries.
9 minutes, sir.
Oh, privileged. I'm going to congratulate each one of you. Welcome to the job. It's either congratulations or condolences, whichever fits. I heard the pay is great and the job is a heck of a lot of fun, so I hope that helps. Reviewing the election results and how you guys wound up here. Paul, you got 180 votes, the incumbent 109. Seth, 124 votes, the incumbent 63. Josh, 189, the incumbent 88. Make no mistake, the November 2023 election was a referendum on the policies and the direction of the prior school board, including the superintendent. The public spoke, again, loud and clear to kind of beat a phrase, last November. We do not want any indoctrination or those supporting it in the St. Mary's school system or in Idaho. In the April 19th, 2023 edition of the Gazette Record, Dr. Wrench stated, I do not have any affiliation or ongoing relationship with Core Collaborative. I'm not going to get into the issues with Core Collaborative at this point. You all should be familiar with that by now. In the same edition, Dr. Wrench stated that, again, I attended one conference and wrote like one Facebook post. Her active participation with Core Collaborative over several years was a matter of public record on her social media presence, which she proceeded to scrub after the issue became widely discussed. You were put here by the largest voter turnout in a local election that I can remember. You were elected to effect a 180-degree course correction from the direction the board was headed in 2023. This includes the hiring of the superintendent. Your duty is to the patrons, the taxpayers, and the future generations of Americans, not a single individual, not lobby groups, not government, but us. No matter what propaganda pieces are published by the Gazette Record and no matter how many dissenting voices they censored out. Because like Cody said, they didn't publish a lot of the opinions that they had asked for. On a final note, I've consulted with an attorney on the suspicious nature of the superintendent hiring process. To give you an example, the fact that Dr. Wrench was the only candidate to be reimbursed for her time spent in St. Mary's and that her resume was received months prior to any other candidate. While Trustee Hendricks, under a faulty understanding of the quasi-executive, quasi-judicial, and quasi-legislative duties of the Board of Trustees, assured us that these policies were done to eliminate bias. Keep in mind that quote is also in the Gazette record. Bias is exactly what is evidenced in these proceedings. Please be aware that the way this process was handled exposes SD41 School Board to a potential judicial review of the board's actions. A judicial review would be time-consuming, costly, and embarrassing for everybody involved. Please consider carefully who put you here and why you're here. I would urge you to not renew Dr. Wrench's contract. It's not just the fact that the public voted overwhelmingly against the policies that she has associated herself with. It's the lies and the cover-up that went on with it. And I have both a copy of her statements in the Gazette and a several-year history of her social media presence. So the statements that she made in the Gazette were pure fiction. Okay? If you guys renew the contract, it not only rewards that dishonesty, but ratifies it. So I'm going to hand this to you. You can all have a look at it. Once again, congratulations and thank you for serving.
Okay. Moving on to C, monthly building department reports. Got a letter here to read from the transportation department.
Can I back up real fast?
Yes.
Sorry. In your board book, under tab C, you'll see the written board reports from the different building principals and the different department managers. If you have any questions, we can look to answer those. Otherwise, going forward in February and the subsequent board meetings, they'll follow rotation where they'll present out their board report to the board.
Will we get copies of this as well? We'll get very similar copies with bar graphs and whatnot as well.
Yes. Yeah.
We'll get both. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. There'll always be the written version in advance to take a look at.
Perfect.
And then at a board meeting going forward, you would hear the different building principals and department managers present their report. And then there's time for questions and answers.
Well, I read this so much better with science.
Oh, okay.
Ben.
Okay, sorry, Jen.
There's another correction, Tana. So I have met all of you, I think, except for Mr. Stokes. I'm Jennifer Miller. I'm the special education coordinator for the district. So I am here today just to read a statement from our district leadership team. So for those of you who don't know, that consists of Chris Asbury, principal, Bridget Arcouche, principal, Victoria Carson, principal, TJ Blackwell, principal, Danette Cordell, business manager, myself, special education coordinator, Joe Gilmore, head of maintenance, Sherry Chafee, head of food services, Janie Allen, head of transportation, Tana Wicks, board clerk, Danny Blackwell, school psychologist, Bobby Pete, school counselor, and Jennifer Rose, school counselor. We recommend without reservation a contract renewal for Dr. Teresa Wrench. Her competent leadership and commitment to the St. Mary's School District is made apparent daily in each of our buildings and departments. Her dedication to student achievement and well-being is demonstrated in every decision she makes. She has proven herself to be a leader who we trust and support. Thank you.
Okay, I'll read my building report from the transportation department. It says, to whom it may concern, Dr. Wrench walked into a mess in the transportation department when she became the superintendent. So in September, Teresa started to meet regularly with the transportation department so we could build morale. work through some issues, get the fleet back on track. Dr. Wrench has been very good to work with. She was open and easy to talk to. We felt she was listening and willing to do what she could to make things better for our department. She is a positive, proactive person who generally cares about each and every one of us. Thank you, Transportation Board.
That's not on the agenda.
It's a building report, transportation,
Oh, so are we on, we're not on D?
but yes,
We're on C.
monthly building reports, department reports.
So that's part of patron.
No, presentation, monthly building and department reports. So it's listed as B, it's listed as B, monthly building department reports, and then C, patrons.
That's what I-
And there
That's
was
where I was
another
gonna
thing.
That's open.
I just was confused about the orders. I thought they were getting the superintendent report.
Sorry, sir. Thank you.
On the agenda.
B and C were mixed up.
So we all good now?
Yep.
Okay, moving on to D, superintendent report.
I have one.
Just had to throw that in there, didn't you?
Well, I always like to start off with pictures, and this, we've only been in school for a few days since the break, so I got a picture of staff and students, because we know students are our most precious gift in the school district, and staff, because I heard the board echo what a strength the staff are at the school district. First, and new experiences. We got a new year, we got a new board team, and we got a new board and superintendent team. And I think back to the welcome back message at the start of school, and I talked a lot about first experiences. If it was your first time to be a teacher, we talked about new experiences. If it was your first time going to come to school as a student, or going to be in a new classroom with a new teacher, or maybe in a new school building. And so for the new year and a new board and superintendent team, that kind of resonated, the first experiences and new experiences. And that can bring excitement. That can also bring some unsettling, some nervousness. And I spent a lot of time also saying, when we have go-to people and we have a team, a lot of times when we get through those experiences and we come out on the other side feeling good or feeling more okay, and even feeling accomplished. So, I'm going to back up real fast. I like to use that analogy of sports, and it could be any extracurricular activity really, but I always refer to sports as that's a place where a lot of us, me included, learned teamwork. And for a football team, basketball team, baseball, you name it, we are on players. When we step on that field or that court, we might be different, but we're learning how to play as a team. And we're working with our coaches to play as a team. And that's how we win. And some of you probably already heard me say this. So winning in School District 41 is us using that quality instruction so that all our students gain that content knowledge, that skill set, and they walk across the stage successful and productive citizens or adults. And so again, just as we work as a community and school district, we welcome different ideas and perspectives. And then, like in a sports team, we learn to work together so we can win or reach that vision. I wanted to highlight for the Board of Trustees and the Superintendent, we have a upcoming workshop, the Board Development Workshop on the 25th. All will be welcome. It's an opportunity there where we will work with facilitator and we'll talk about the governance, how we govern, how we lead, how we manage. We'll learn more about our duties and roles and responsibilities that's in line with the state statute, including the Constitution. And we will also get some time to discuss, because it's a workshop, how we want to govern, how we want to manage, how we want to lead in a way that works for St. Mary's, kind of the St. Mary's way. These are a few, you've seen this, and there's so many different directions to go right now. I'll just start here. What's interesting about a business meeting is it's open to the public, yet we're not supposed to respond at that time because there's a lot of different ideas. And I don't want to come across like I'm defending myself tonight in the superintendent report. Yet I'm feeling compelled to speak from my heart and kind of share a little. And I'll tie it into our superintendent goals and the markers that the board uses to gather evidence in alignment with how I'm performing or what kind of a fit I'm making based on the goals, which are the district goals and superintendent goals. So these are the markers. Achievement, relationships with the board, staff, community, providing educational leadership, supporting the operations of the daily school district, communication skills, personal and professional qualities. So maybe it taps in there a little bit. I certainly invite people to spend time with me. And one of the reasons, I had one patron ask, are you affiliated with a liberal woke agenda? And why did you scrub some of your social media away? And it was because it seemed to be creating a lot of misunderstanding and fear before I had entered into the position. And I wanted this opportunity for people to get to know me and me to get to know people. And I always think of, we want to use evidence and we want to make, I've heard trust and verify, or verify and trust, kind of a SMART analysis. And I thought, well, what a perfect opportunity. All of us, people who had fears about me, people who were receptive, people who came in supporting me, we all have this opportunity in the first 6 months to get to see and observe me in this role in person, in real time, to see what kind of a good fit and to see how well I perform based on the values and the goals for St. Mary's. And we talked some, and it's not on this slide, but in some of my other slides, we haven't explicitly stated the main values that support our goals and direction. And that's some of the work we want to do at the end of January and beginning of February, because it's time to revisit our strategic goals. But we talked and we've heard, that some of the goals, some of the values within our strategic plan, are parent involvement, for sure. Quality instruction. Seeing our kids have the skills and knowledge and those extracurricular opportunities to walk across the stage to be successful. Those are a few. Certainly, we heard tonight the Constitution, and I have my oath to sign as well, that I do solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Idaho, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Superintendent of St. Mary's Joint School District 41 in Benawah and Shoshone Counties, State of Idaho, according to the best of my abilities. Also, a few other things that people might not know about me, and I brought it up in the new year, and I lean on Craig Teff when we talk about what are some of your top priorities as I reflect coming into the new year. And it hasn't always been this way, but it's faith. I do believe in God's word. It's family, which at this point is my mom and my dad, and my furries, 2 dogs at home. And my job. I do consider my job some of my family, and I've been in education for 32 plus years. And I got into it based on my 11th grade teacher, Mrs. Betsy Potts, who made a difference, who I struggled with reading and writing. And she made it in a way that I wasn't embarrassed. And I learned how to read and write. She went to some of my games or concerts. And I always just said, I simply want to be in education. I don't want it to be about liberal, woke, political, just education and making a difference for our kiddos. And that very vision that we speak to of providing instruction in a way that gives our kids content knowledge, a skill set to walk across that stage to be successful. And 32 years later, I have that same vision and belief, and that's why I got into education. That's why I see myself as a good fit. I know there were fears, and we're allowed to have dissenting opinions for sure. And I count on this last 6 months, and even I agree, given just 1 year where we get a chance to work together. So I'm working for the school district. And so everybody continues to get a firsthand opportunity. That's the most credible evidence, and that's the most sure evidence to see that I fit and perform with St. Mary's in the way of St. Mary's. There are some misunderstandings, and I think through two-way conversations we can clear up those misunderstandings. And I agree with a few of the patrons, and I've been praying that we trust in God and the right decision. And one of my mantras is ride the wave of truth. Yep. So there we go. What else do I have? My mom and dad are watching. So hi, mom and dad. Go back to some nuts and bolts. And board members, this is a board report to you, so you can certainly ask me questions along the way. Happenings in SD41 that are upcoming, a little more straightforward. We do have a math curriculum meeting January 11th. Paul Sutton's a strong part of that, so is Beth Halverson. And Jenny Darnold is on the team, so I think we'll have an opportunity to clear up some misunderstandings and talk about what that pilot and adoption of our next math curriculum looks like. And we have a long ways to go on the committee, still assessing, still inspecting the different textbooks, trying the different textbooks in the classroom. Parents on the committee have an opportunity to study the textbooks at home while teachers are trying it in the classroom. Using a different instrument that has the criteria, including how well are the books aligned to the standards. One of the criteria we're using is CRT and SEL. We've added that to our rubric to evaluate the textbooks, looking for something that does not have that, or either not at all or the least amount. There was a state recommended list to start with, and then the committee has an option to bring forth other textbooks for us to inspect and try in the classroom and continue those ongoing conversations amongst the committee, looking for consensus with the committee, which is a mix of parents and some staff And then with that recommendation, they bring it forward to the school board for the approval.
What programs are we looking at right now?
Yep.
I know there was two. We were trying to parallel them, and I'm trying to remember the
There's
specifics.
6 we started off.
Right.
Paul and Beth can help me.
Singapore
Thank
is
you.
one of
There's the
them.
facility
Right.
right there.
And what? I'm sorry. And Vision was the other one. Okay.
Oh, Savvis.
Awesome.
Savvis is one of the publishing companies.
Which is also called Envision.
Okay.
Uh,
Perfect.
Cute Mifflin is another publishing company.
Right.
Into math. Cengage, that didn't make the list.
The list still has
But we're down to 2 right
down
now.
to 2. It was
Yeah.
Vision and
So they're
Singapore,
gonna
right?
pilot-
Piloting both of them. That's what I thought we. Okay. I just want to make sure that I understand that as well. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Process can open back up.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Awesome.
As things, yeah.
And it narrowed from 6 originally, 5.
Yeah, there was
Starts-
5 and then.
Well, I remember when it was presented on that table. I was there at the first 5, I think. So I think
Yeah,
it's
we brought in Singapore dimensions.
Awesome.
And then now we're piloting
Singapore Vision.
Envision and Singapore.
Cool.
Envision will go first.
Good questions. January, February, I tentatively set some dates for January 26th. That's a professional development time with staff. And then January 31st and February 7th as input days were from the community and the residents and families as well as staff. Oh, thank you. I didn't mention.
No, just looking at you. Sorry.
That we would start to get input for our updated strategic plan. Typically, it's a 5-year plan, and that's where we have the goals, some priority actions, work with like programs and action steps. And then we make performance targets, like to track that we're meeting our 4 or 5 goals. And so now it is time this year to gather input, share information, and revise and update that strategic plan for the next 5 years.
That's
And so we'll go
February.
through a series of meetings where we're gathering input from residents, community, staff, and of course the school board.
Will we be setting some of those dates?
Yeah, so these are some of the tentative dates I have right now.
Are those on the school calendar on the?
Not
website?
yet, because right, they're just tentative
Okay.
to check. This was kind of my first appearance after the new year to bring forth some dates, kind
We're
of check in
thinking-
with the board.
We're thinking February is when we're going to try to attack that first strategic alignment.
So the 26th is an opportunity with staff because it's professional development day.
The
26th. See, the
So I was
25th.
thinking the 31st and the 7th would be 2 opportunities to attack it with community and families.
Or am I missing that? I'm sorry.
No, the 26th is already scheduled on.
Okay.
Not, I might
Okay,
ask
okay,
one
okay.
member, but
In school.
not
Okay.
full board, just, yeah,
Okay.
just input.
Yeah.
So the 25th is.
That's the board- that's the board workshop.
Workshop, and then the 29th, which is a Monday. Tentative
Special board meeting in regards to that.
In regards to what?
You're saying
The
January.
Oh, you
strategic
don't,
plan.
I'm sorry, I was still way back on
Yeah.
the input. See in green?
Tentatively set for January
Oh.
26th, 31st, and September.
So we don't have any
February 2nd.
specific dates.
Yeah,
I'm
for the
leaning
strategic plan.
towards
I got you.
31st and February 7th.
Okay. Okay, I see
As
it now.
2 input days with the community.
Okay.
And 1 or 2 board members attends so they can represent the summary of the meeting back at the board, next regular board meeting.
Just to make a clarification, that's just a draft.
Yes.
What date was that? What we're talking about for the input of that?
The 31st of January.
That's where you're hoping some of us would tentatively. Okay, okay.
And 7th
Seventh.
of February.
Okay.
26th, 31st, and
Yeah,
7th.
I'm gonna say 31st. For the
That way we would have a staff representative and a board member representative plus the community. So that when we share it forward at a board meeting, we've got staff and we've got board. We can share. That's just the start of it.
Okay.
Once we solidify those dates, then yes, we will advertise in Skylar and we will advertise on the district calendar for sure.
Can I ask questions about something besides that though? The board workshop.
Yeah, let me go down. So let me, yes.
Okay, okay.
I think I'll answer it. The high school was gonna wait and put their winter concert on for us. We think it's January 24th. The board development workshop that I talked about a little bit, where we'll talk about governance and leadership and management, is the 25th, starting at 5 o'clock. The public is welcome. That will be on our school calendar.
What can you slow that back down? What are we covering on that?
The 25th is the board superintendent development workshop.
Mhm.
That's like the 3 hour where we get to work and interact together with a facilitator, and we talk about governance,
Okay.
leadership, management. We go through our roles and responsibilities
Perfect.
as it matches state statute, but also there's a lot of room where we can add practices and protocols for
Awesome.
how we want to govern based on St. Mary's.
Is the public welcome to be there
Yes,
and
the
interact
public
with us?
welcome. It's a workshop.
It's a workshop, so
Yes.
everyone needs to know that you guys are all welcome to be here.
Mostly
Please.
with us, and
Interact.
then they can have.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know,
Cody,
did you ever
you've been
take
to
a
a
class
few
with
of them,
Jason?
so-
I didn't get
Oh,
to
you
on the
attended
last
one
one,
of
but
the
I know this
workshops.
next one I'm really interested in doing,
Yeah.
and I didn't know that everybody didn't know that they can all be here to be involved. And I love that
Yeah.
more than anything else.
Yeah, that's
So,
a difference. That's a key difference from a meeting.
Right.
And a workshop
Right.
is more of
It's
an
interactive.
interaction,
Awesome.
conversation.
awesome. Okay.
Paul Sultan sat in on one.
Yeah, you can actually talk to the board. They'll talk back to you.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It's not a meeting.
Well, and that's the
It's
trouble
not
with
a
this
meeting.
meeting. This is a business meeting. We have to do business within the district. So that's why there's no conversation in this meeting here.
That's a workshop. It's to just talk and to work things out.
I think the best part about it was the factor of how it's being titled a workshop, that nobody
Yeah.
understood that it's interactive. And that's more of a discussion as well. And so it's highly recommended that we all attend.
The first
Everyone wants
one,
to be involved.
yeah, the first one was a personal development guy from the ISBA. He came here. I think Gary Crandall was here. So they'll have another one from a district, yes, from a different district. He's a trainer.
And does it have like a specific agenda that's stuck to and that we have to adhere to, or do we? how
No,
does
it's a
that work?
workshop.
It's a workshop, so it's just, it's a good conversation back and forth.
Dialogue.
Thank you
Um,
for clarifying.
They have, like, the facilitator has topics that
Yes,
get us
right.
talking.
Yeah, we need to move
So
on. We're
there's
getting
You
off,
can kind of go from there.
yeah, we're getting off task.
Okay.
Sorry.
I just had questions
Yeah,
pertaining to
those
it.
are, those
I
are
thought it would be
good
better.
clarifying questions, because I
Okay.
know we want to do a better job of communicating in a board meeting
Perfect.
versus a workshop. And a workshop is more interaction
Perfect.
and conversation style.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
The tentative special board meeting. I don't remember what that was for. Oh, yes, I do. In terms of one of the grants, the McKinstry grant with the 14 million, for the HVAC systems and some of the air and circulating systems. Nope, that's not the one. This tentative special board meeting would be about the bids that you're gonna look at pretty soon, that relate to the CTE grant to construct the new building. Tonight is just an opportunity to look at the bid proposals, just to have a simple discussion. Really, the purpose of tonight is to open the bids in a public meeting, business meeting. Then to schedule a special board meeting where the people, the companies that made a bid would be present. We could go further in with the discussion, answer questions and answers, and if we felt comfortable at that time, based on the specs and based on the lowest bid, we could take action. So that's what the 29th is.
Do we have a
about.
time of the day set for that?
I figured 5 or 5:30.
5:30?
Does the 29th work for everybody?
Yeah.
Just shoot an email.
Okay.
I don't have my
I
phone.
don't even know what day of the week that is.
It's Monday.
It's a Monday.
Okay.
If you got one of them
Normally,
phones,
we put our
I
phones
don't know if
away
you
and
got
keep
an
them
iPhone,
away, but this
then
is the
if you
only
got a
time
calendar,
that,
it'll automatically
that
go
I
to
like
calendar.
pull my phone.
Yeah. I'm
Because
just writing it
everything
down.
goes
I'll
in my
refer to it later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything goes in my phone.
This is where that laptop's going to come in really key here.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, once that date is solidified and the board members can attend, then we'll go through our typical board meeting routine of noticing it, posting it on the website and the calendar.
Okay.
It would be a business meeting open to the public.
Okay.
February 12th, which might be our next board meeting, and with that, what I've promised is mid-year, halfway through the year, a little more than halfway, that we would bring some stats, meaning I would bring some mid-year data points back to the board, to share based on our goals, particularly in the area of reading and math. Give some mid-year data points, some student results on how we're progressing and achieving towards those end of the year goals. And a nice highlight is the possible Head Start program that might start in spring at Upper River School. There we go.
Cool.
End of report.
All right. Just a quick, on the picture on the right. That's all the staff members that are St. Mary's returned graduates to come back to work at the district.
Is that fun? Is that next? G?
I was
Yeah,
at the back of the
please.
school breakfast, I would like to have them stand up, be acknowledged and take a picture. It's phenomenal to see how many people come back. All right, career technical education, these are the bid
These
packets.
are the big packets.
I'm gonna have to take 5 minutes to go back, I'm sorry.
Okay.
What is you want to just start, then they'll
You
be
can pass
to him by then. So I'll let you explain.
Oh, these are the bids.
These are, so I'm looking at bids from, are these all different bids?
There's 3 different
There's
bids.
3 different ones here. I'm gonna give one to you guys.
This is all,
Passing them all today.
There's one copy.
this is, okay. This is one bid. That's the other. I see his bond. I see his bond. Yep, don't worry.
One
They're
copy.
not in this.
Okay.
She just unsealed them. Oh, okay.
They're not in the board book. We're just.
Can I get a copy of this later?
They're
We'll give-
opening for
Okay,
this
okay, okay.
first.
Perfect.
This is our opening of the day.
And all 3 of these contractors came to the meeting on the 20th of December, is that correct?
Yeah, I guess I'll explain it now. Explain what he means. Yeah, so what happened was 6 different contractors or contracting companies did show up to the mandatory site visit. That was on the bid proposal. That was advertised in the paper. And 3 contracting companies, these 3 contracting companies submitted their bid proposal by 4:30 on January 3rd. Which was the date that they had to submit a bid proposal. We sealed them and time-stamped and let the contractors know that we would open them at the board meeting, so it was a business meeting open to the public. And it was just to see.
Yeah, right.
We'll hold that, tentatively, we'll have that special board meeting where they'll be present. And we can look at the bid and the design more closely.
And that's at the
The 29th.
29th meeting. Okay.
That tentatively, yeah.
Yep.
And then they can be there to ask and answer questions.
Okay.
And at that time, based on the specs, hitting the mark that we're looking for, and based on lowest bid, we could take action at that time.
Do they all have their own individual designs, or is it one simple design we gave them and then they?
So we,
I know
Is that a copy of that? In E, you have a copy of the.
He's empty.
They did not.
I don't.
The design.
Thank you, ma'am. Nope, that's fine. And I'll look.
So
at-
yeah, it was simply a bid design, and the specs were 80 by 60 pole building
Right.
with an 80 by 20.
I think I've
beam.
seen that one.
Yep.
Right. Okay. I didn't know if anyone had
And
adjusted.
then,
Okay.
that all construction and design must fit with Idaho code.
Right. Of course.
Yeah, and that a geotech report would be required. And then after that, we asked them to stay within $1 million because that's what was awarded.
Sure.
Then from there, they had an opportunity to design a floor plan and offer a bid.
So they have floor plans themselves then.
Well, you notice one does.
This one down here.
Okay.
has-
Okay. Okay. That's the one that was original.
And I can copy.
I
this
didn't
and
see it
give
on
them
either
to
one of
them.
these. That's why.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, I see they're all bonded.
Yeah.
Can
we-
Oh, right, because we see them, yeah.
These? Yeah, can we?
I'm with you.
I will get copies. The
most important of tonight was to open them in a public setting. And then have a special board meeting to have time to look at the designs.
You can put them together and send them to us, so we, okay. All right, so we're moving on.
That's what I'm ready.
Okay, ready to move on? Yeah. Okay, Idaho School Board Association activities. Board Development Workshop is January 25th. We chatted about that a little bit. Jason Knopp will be coming up, spending a few hours. He's from the Melba district. So pretty small district, but pretty good guy. Works as a firefighter for Melba. And then Day on the Hill, February 19th and 20th, 24. That's pretty good to go to. You watch the Senate and House Ed committees work in their committees. And then if you want to watch things, how they go on the floor and get debated and passed and all that sort of thing, you can hang out there. We go down there and meet with our legislators, local legislators, and you can meet with other ones too that they're in the Senate Ed and House Ed committees. Just good to get to know them down there. Different things come up at times, and kind of nice to bend their ear about them. They have a big luncheon. I think the lunch is Monday when we get down there, so we'll get down there. I think probably go down Sunday evening, Monday morning, get up. Imagine there's breakfast somewhere. They probably have a workshop or some kind of a guest speaker. Then they'll break and walk down to the Capitol and sit in one of those rooms down there, and then they'll acknowledge, that the school district's there, and just go all through that stuff, and then get down and go back to the Grove for lunch and that sort of thing. And then I'm not sure what they'll have after that for us to do. And then the Tuesday will just be the same thing, only the first day, I don't know whether you watch the House Ed or Senate Ed, but then it'll just be the other one Tuesday when you go down there. Then they'll have a workshop at the end of the day, mid-morning to noonish somewhere there, and then you're done and probably fly home Tuesday. So, or drive. See if I can beat you home. Board request to administration, board development. Any questions, concerns?
There's one thing just with the math curriculum committee. Now that Paul, you're official, you're no longer a parent. So our balance is off, so we have to address that. Because now we've got 2 trustees on the curriculum committee, but then that takes away a parent representative. So we've got to address that situation.
We'll adjust that at the,
At the-
go ahead.
I'm still a parent.
You are.
Yeah. So you've either got
That's a board
to, I don't
meeting.
know, we'll discuss it.
At
but
the, at the January 11th.
We just need to make sure that the balance is correct,
Yeah.
that you're designated correctly, and that our balance is correct, so that we
We
don't
keep more
diminish
parents.
our parent.
Correct.
The ratio.
Right,
Yes.
our ratio has to stay the same, because we don't want to mess that up.
I'll do that and chat about this policy that would keep us in compliance.
Sounds good.
All right, so we're gonna go into executive session for 45 minutes here.
We're gonna leave.
Yeah, you guys can stay here. We're gonna leave. I figured it'd be best, so. I need to review and consider motion to